Hello, folks, and welcome to a different video with quite the janky setup. First off, this is going to be instead of the December GP League race at Mokina, and I want to apologize for not getting footage from that race. I was a complete idiot and forgot my entire bag of recording equipment at home and didn't realize until I was already at the track. So sorry for dropping the ball there. Despite that blunder, it's not all bad news. I figured this would be a decent time to try something completely different, but really, there's a few things that really just take better to a long discussion video. So, on the agenda, first up will be a recap of the December GP race and the 2025 K1 season at Mokina as a whole. Then, I'm going to get into the title and the thumbnail of this video, why 2025 is basically the last year that I'll be league racing at K1. Finally, I'll be going over my 2026 race schedule, what that looks like without GP races, and what that'll look like as videos here on the channel. So those three things will all be topics marked as chapters along the timeline of this video. So without further ado, on to the December recap. Your 2025 K1 Mokina season champion, right here. That was a lot closer than it needed to be, but there weren't any tiebreakers this year, so it could have been closer. Going into the final race, there were 4 people vying for 3 spots to progress to the Illinois State Championships. I had a lead of 5 points over Luis in second, Craig in third, and then Tommy was 7 points behind me, so he was 2 points behind Luis and Craig for that last spot. Over the course of this position race in December, there were swaps between Luis and I for the overall points lead, and swaps between Tommy and Craig for that 3rd place overall. So here's what I remember from our qualifying and from our race for December. First up, we got 2 sessions of qualifying to set the grid for that position race. I got cart 31 in the first quali, and it was okay, but the brakes were starting to fail on it. I could tell that after the first flying lap that going into the braking zone at turn 1, I could fully lock the brakes and not have the same stopping power as usual to slow down. And I would hear the rear tires would skid along the track while in that braking zone at turn 1. I put in a 21.299 in that card in first qualifying. That put me 2nd place overall. In second qualifying, I got cart number 4. It was one of the faster carts out of that set, but the steering wheel was loose. There was a lot of slack between the steering wheel being in center in one direction before it would grab onto the steering column and start to turn. Luckily, this didn't break, and it didn't stop me from setting a 21.096, which got me pole position for the final race. Then, for our position race, I was assigned cart 24 for the final. Everyone who had that cart throughout the day complained about the throttle pedal being stiff. And that is the first time I've ever heard of that issue coming up. Our position races are a standing start. So if that throttle pedal is going to be tough to get to 100%, that might be an issue for me despite starting on pole. Well, sure enough, I got off to an awful start from the grid, and going into that first turn, I was in the middle of a 3 wide, got swamped, and fell down to 5th place coming out of the second turn. So Brian Willis went from 3rd place on the grid to leading the race. Luis stayed in 2nd place. Ricky Stover moved up to 3rd place. Tommy moved up to 4th. I was 5th. Like I said, Craig behind me in 6th. Jared Ortiz was behind me in 7th. And Joseph Stover was in 8th place out of the 8 folks that were in that final a main heat race. And it wasn't getting any better. Before I could settle into a rhythm, get my bearings, get back to racing, out of turn 3, before we get into the first hairpin, there was what I like to call quarter panel contact between Ricky in 3rd place and Tommy in 4th place. This sent Ricky sideways, heading into the inside wall before the hairpin wall at turn 4. I was coming out of turn 3 and was basically leading to a head-on collision with him. In retrospect, I really had 3 options for what I could do there. If Ricky continues his momentum, then I can attempt to swing to the outside to just avoid contact as much as I can. Hopefully there's room from my position to the outside wall to basically get a cart's width around him, and I'm hoping that there isn't someone behind me who would make that same quarter panel or sideswipe collision with me and then sort of escalate that situation. If I'm coming to the outside and I miss him, then it's a toss-up whether the race would be yellow flagged or not. But if things sort of escalate, if there's more contact, then there would probably be a yellow flag for that race, stop and sort of resettle with who should be where and all of that stuff. My other option is that if Ricky spins but stops and hold his brakes close to the middle of the track, then maybe I can hug the inside wall and either avoid contact or at least avoid head-on contact. If there isn't room, then I will at least graze and make contact, but we'll both be pointed back in the racing direction. This unfortunately would lose me momentum if I do make contact there, but we would basically both be pointing in the same direction. Thus, the race would probably not get yellow flagged. My third option is basically just slam on the brakes. Basically brake in a straight line, avoid a T-bone. Then I am hoping that I don't get what they call concertinaed, or someone runs into the back of me, then pushing me into Ricky, and we have a real traffic jam. If I park it and not make contact with Ricky, the race would be more likely to be yellow flagged, and in that case we would probably get those positions back, be in sort of a single file line, and a restart from there is how that yellow flag procedure would go. If I'm avoiding contact on either direction, there's a chance it stays green and we basically continue racing, and it's tough luck for whatever happens. But it turns out I chose the second option of trying to go to the inside, say, if there is contact, we will straighten out. And what was the deciding factor at the moment was whatever happens, we will probably stay green. I think that was the incorrect choice. And that's a little bit of foreshadowing, a little bit of hindsight, but also I really think it's best to just make the choice that avoids contact. That's really the advice that I would give to someone else in that situation. So it's advice that I should have heeded in the moment. De-escalate the situation, avoid contact, slow down, stop, trust that the marshals will remedy the situation, get everyone back into the positions they should have, and go from there. I had made contact with Ricky, but we were both straightened out with no momentum, still under green flag racing. That first lap was Brian in first place, Luis in second, Tommy in third, Craig in fourth, Jared in fifth, Ricky in sixth, myself in seventh, and Joseph in eighth. I want to say the first couple 2-3 laps Ricky was very gracious to me and didn't fight me for position when I was looking to move up in the pack. I thanked him afterwards. I'll shout him out here. It was a hell of a situation there, having been spun out of third place. The race didn't stop. He didn't get third place back, and it was rough for him, but really appreciate it. And it turns out that was really key. Next up in the final race was midpoint in the race. Luis attempted to pass Brian for the lead of the race, spitting him out in the process. Contrary to earlier, the race was stopped. Brian was given back the position under yellow flags. We were all stopped. Once everyone was back in position, we were ready to resume racing, and this set off some fireworks from the Stover brothers. I forget if it was Ricky or Joseph or both at some point in it. A lot of little things. The earlier incident and the fact that one was handled one way, another was handled another way. 5 minutes worth of venting out frustrations. Everyone stayed in their carts. We went back racing, and immediately, turn 1 on lap 8, I got past Jared for 5th place in the race, and that was the key position for me to clinch the season championship. The last bit of spice in the race was a battle between Brian, 2nd place, and Tommy in 3rd place, with Tommy needing to pass Brian to tie Craig on points for the season. I had made up the gap from my incidents earlier. I had made up that gap, so with Brian in 2nd, Tommy in 3rd, Craig in 4th, I was tucked in behind them in 5th with about 4 laps to go. Tommy made a move at the far corner 7, got alongside Brian, but couldn't make the pass stick and tucked back into 3rd place. Craig was up with Tommy. They were side by side with each other with about 2 laps to go. I was tucked in behind them in 5th, figurative popcorn in hand, just enjoying the show. The season trophies were given to 1st place, myself, with 154 points. 2nd to Luis with 153. 3rd to Craig with 150 points. 4th to Tommy with 149 points. Craig, Luis, and I will be going to the Illinois State Championship at Addison. Reverse the layout. We'll be competing against Eric Tekian, Eric Sutcliffe, and Jonathan Kirsch from Addison, and against Dennis Neal, Steve Casper, and Luis Maldonado from Buffalo Grove. Out of the 9 of us, 3 will advance to K1 Nationals later in 2026. So, that's the long-winded summary for the December Mokina GP and my 2025 K1 season at Mokina as a whole. Next, I'll get into why this is my last season doing league racing at K1. Funny enough, one of the positives to not recording the December GP event was more time chatting with fellow racers. Earlier in this season, we had consistently almost 30 people attending the league races at Mokina, and then there was a sizable exodus that left after 3 months earlier in the year, and looking back, it's easy to see why. The slogan for any of these competitive events at K1 Speed really should be disappointing but not surprising. There was a lot of incompetence and meddling with events from corporate and middle management. As I mentioned earlier, marshaling has been inconsistent, and it's easy to see why, because no ground rules are set for what to expect, what is procedure, those sorts of things. Our structure, points, and logistics month to month were very inconsistent, and aside from 2 qualifyings and a race, any given month would be run differently. Our league events were skimped basically the entire season. On the K1 website, each qualifying session is said to be 14 laps, and we only get 12. The position races are supposed to be 16 laps, and we only get 14. Really, any given month, not everything would go wrong, but over the course of a year, and with a lot of recurring issues, many events having multiple things go wrong, it just adds up over time, and I'm just not up for dealing with it anymore. Really, this last month was the cherry on the top with how many issues I'm talking about. Over the course of the season, like 2 to 3 different people have been entering in points on their website. They're using a different points system between all of them, and there's no communication between the different people entering points. It's really just unacceptable. After the race, these trophies that myself, Luis, and Craig got for 2025, we got these trophies and a podium, but the top 3 from the December race didn't get trophies or medals or a podium picture. That would have been huge for Brian in second. I think that's the first time he's gotten a podium in the A race this whole year. And sure, Tommy in third place also, completely deserving of a trophy or a medal. You know, some months we'll get a little medal, and sometimes we'll get a little kart driver, a little trophy for each month, which is nice when we get it. Sometimes we get it, sometimes we don't. Like I said earlier, the consistency is just non-existent. The top 3 for the season, as part of our prizing, got a K1 Speed t-shirt, complimentary. Except they had hardly anything in stock. They had extra larges in most of their designs, and adult small to children's medium in most of their assortment, and nothing in between. The funniest part is this trophy. If I could fit it in frame here, this trophy, it'll be upside down. I'll flip it in post. There's no engraving on the trophy. It's just a plain ass, trophy I bought on Temu. It's a Temu trophy. It's what I'll call it. That's jeez. Yeah. Top-down stuff is a shambles in terms of organization and consistency. It gets really frustrating for us as racers that when something goes wrong, we have to adjust to it rather than us getting a consistent event month to month, consistent carts month to month, and boy, when it rains, it pours. They have a set of 10 carts set aside just for league races. The good carts are quick and they don't break, but the best carts to average carts to bad carts is probably half a second from the fastest to the slowest, and the averages are about a quarter of a second. Indoor racing at K1 is so difficult to overtake. It's a qualifying league, and the carts just have way too much variance between them. That comes down to there are mechanical malfunctions in addition to a different mechanical feel in terms of the grip or the steering or the braking of the carts. I went through my 3 carts that I had in the 2 qualifyings and the third one in the position race. All 3 had mechanical issues with them and not just a different feel to them. That really has gotten worse over the course of the year, and I don't see it getting better. The times are fast, but the carts are way too different. And it's really tough, basically having to relearn whatever cart you get into because there's so much different with that cart versus the other ones in that set. So another reason why I'm not racing at K1 Speed going forward is that I think there are better options for off the couch into a cart, translating sim racing to real life racing. The Challenge GPs were the cheapest and the easiest way to get in the seat of a real kart, improving month to month, getting better with racing techniques, qualifying, holding your positions, making clean overtakes, those sorts of things. I really don't think that's true anymore, especially in the Southwest Chicagoland area, because there's an alternative called Kart Circuit Autobahn. I have been advocating literally anyone who will listen to me that has gone to a Challenge GP at Mokina. I've been telling them, give Kart Circuit Autobahn a try. They have a fleet of new rental karts every 2 to 3 years. They're kept in better shape. They have spares in case of an issue. That outdoor track also has way more real estate for having side-by-side racing, taking inside lines and outside lines through corners. Besides just a singular racing line, it is easier there to make passes without contact, and you can make the strategic decision to bump draft and follow behind someone rather than make a rough pass and contest the position over multiple corners. There is some strategy to racing. It is also much easier to learn by racing at Autobahn because of that. At any of the K1s in the Chicagoland area, there just isn't room to make clean passes, to have multiple options going into corners. You have the racing line and that's it. Even if you don't have an outdoor track like Kart Circuit Autobahn, there are other options and they end up being cheaper than spending $75 to $100 a month to do the Challenge GPs. If you are a regular at the K1 Challenge GPs, I would strongly suggest take a look at the other tracks in your area. Give them a try if you can. I understand that just driving to a K1 speed is not a luxury that everyone has. So if that's your only option, then I get it. But if you have other alternatives, I'd really suggest you check them out. And I think you'll be surprised by the difference once you try something else versus going back to K1. Another reason why I'm not going to be racing at K1 going forward is I've done 2022 and 2023 season racing at Buffalo Grove. I've done 2024 and 2025 at Mokina. I've qualified for the state championships for Illinois the past 3 seasons. It's starting to get old, to be honest, really. The best parts of each month is talking with new folks who are just getting into kart racing or just getting into real life racing, period. Talking with folks who are looking to improve, who are trying to find extra speed. That's been probably the best part of this year. Here on YouTube, talking with someone who is racing at Buffalo Grove. I've not met him in person, but it's all been through YouTube and him going through and analyzing his performances. Multiple people are sharing advice as well, and that's been really cool to see this year as well. That's been the best part of racing at the GP, has been the people and the fellow racers and that camaraderie. I can get that with other league racing. It's not something that I specifically have to go to K1 in order to do, and I'm lucky to be in a position where that's an option. I've mentioned Kart Circuit Autobahn previously. I've raced rentals there for 3.5 years now. I raced my own LO206 class go-kart there the past 2 years as well, and I have no plans of stopping either of those anytime soon. The Addison location, the Buffalo Grove location, the Mokina location I've been to, I've raced at regularly, and it's not something I'm looking to do going forward. If I'm not racing at K1, what racing will I do in 2026? My schedule that I decided for 2025 of posting 1 video per week was a good balance between spacing out videos, combining multiple heat races from one session into a single video, editing that one video, posting it, balancing that work and that play with my work schedule really worked out pretty well for this last year, and I think I'll try and do that again for 2026. So, one video a week. I haven't decided whether it'll be a single upload on a Monday, as I did in 2025, or I just get the video edited and posted after the event is over, still up in the air. Part of that will be which events I decide to go to. I will absolutely be at the every other week Wednesday rental league races at Kart Circuit Autobahn. I will also be at the once a month Kart Circuit Autobahn Challenge races with my LO206 kart in most likely the Ignite Senior class specifically. That will be about 3 races per month, a Wednesday, an open week, a Wednesday, a weekend. Aside from those events at Kart Circuit Autobahn, I may alternate between Turnkey Thursday weekly event at Sugar River Raceway. Norway Motorsports Park has rental league races on Friday nights. Norway Motorsports Park also has club race events on Saturdays that I'd be competing with my 206 kart. There are also weekend LO206 race days at Sugar River Raceway and even 61 Kartway. Those would basically be within travel distance for me. 1 race a week. 2 of them will be on a Wednesday. 1 will probably be Thursday, Friday, or Saturday. And 1 will absolutely be a Friday practice and Saturday race. In the description of this video, I will include links to those tracks, their websites, the schedule for their leagues. The Wednesday league races at KCA are set. Kart Circuit Autobahn Challenge races are set. I don't know those dates yet. So once that's finalized, I'll make a calendar, put a community post, and link to that as well. With all that being said, between now and Kart Circuit Autobahn's April 1st opening day, I will have 2 videos from Rush Hour Karting in Raleigh while I am there in North Carolina for Christmas, New Year's Eve vacation. I've posted those the last couple years. They've done pretty well. I will continue to do that. I enjoy racing there. The 2025 Illinois State Championship for K1, I'll be filming that event. I'll edit it and post it soon afterwards. I may work on some more older videos from previous years, 2023, 2024. They will have the exclamation point archive appended to the front of that video, so you guys know it's from older events rather than something that I just raced at. I think the off season is a good time for those videos to come out on a semi-regular basis and have something up on the channel. So that's enough yapping for me. I have a script and I still went way over. So thank you so much for watching this video. I doubt I'll be making more because I'm not really set up to do a talking head style video, but you did enjoy the video or you learned something new or you appreciate the update. Liking the video is appreciated. If you're looking for something more like the regular content on this channel of kart racing videos, don't worry. There's more of that coming soon. TM, I promise. Subscribing to the channel as well. It's free. As long as you have a Google account or any email address. It doesn't cost you any money to subscribe. It puts these videos of mine in your YouTube subscription feed rather than through the YouTube algorithm or you having to remember to search for me. It helps out the channel. That's it. That's all. That was a mouthful. Thank you for listening to my rambling, and I hope to see you on track.